Are we connected?
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are. Hello.
Hey.
Yeah.
Hey, episode 2. Wow, here we are. We made it.
Yes.
Another Thursday Night Live. I am Anthony Moseley. Another Collaboraction Artistic Director. Another Thursday Night Live.
And I'm Dr. Marcus Robinson, Collaboraction's Executive Director, and I'm so happy you're all here to join us tonight.
Hello, humans. Hello, aliens. I am Nicole Brooks, better known as Dr. Slick. She, her, hers, they, them. It's Taurus season, so what up to all my Taurians? And I am Collaboraction's Associate Artistic Director.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Welcome to Crucial Connections, Collaboraction's weekly hyperlocal thinking global show to create space for us all to connect with each other, not just during this pandemic, but for an ongoing basis as we figure out how to collaborate and dismantle oppressions and be better human beings together.
Yes, at 23 years old, Collaboraction is Chicago's theater of social change. And Collaboraction is known for its fearlessness and its innovative approach to dismantling oppression using art, advocacy, and the theatrical performance. This season, we made our home the resident theater company at Kennedy King College in my neighborhood, here on the south side of Chicago in Inglewood, bringing world-class art to our community. However, the pandemic, this COVID thing, had a different thing in mind for all of us, it appears. And so what we've done now is transcended and transformed into a trans-dimensional company, providing this kind of programming along with live programming as the opportunities present themselves. So we'll be here with you during the pandemic on a weekly basis, Thursday nights, 8 o'clock, and bringing you important issues, important stories with people with great ideas and insight into how we can best come together to cause systemic change and make the world a better place for you and for me, with no one left out.
Yes. Now I'm going to give you the rundown of how this jam-packed time is going to go. Each show will have 2 acts, and we're going to have interviews, and we're also going to have a very special halftime performance right there in the middle, and we're going to have up to 90 guests that can join us here in the Zoom conference room, and they're going to be able to share their thoughts and questions by signing up for a ticket in advance. Or, you can also raise your window right now, give some love to the healthcare workers, and then tell everybody to go to collaboraction.org. And you can also check us out on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
This programming on Collaborations Together Network is made possible from the support of our very generous sponsors, the Joseph and Bessie Feinberg Foundation, the Mark and Jeannie Malnati Family Foundation, and AV Chicago, who's been lifting up our work for so long now. And the help of viewers like you. We got some donations last week. Thank you so much. If you want to see more of this programming and help us grow online as we leap into the digital divide, you can make a monthly donation for as little as $5 a month. You can make a bigger donation, maybe your company will match it. And we also are looking for all kinds of in-kind sponsors, and we will be returning to the stage and broadcasting that work as well. So we love your support, and we couldn't do it without you. Let's give it up for our sponsors. Hey.
Yes. And for viewers like you, you can definitely join in and support us. On tonight's show, we'll be exploring where we go from here through the lens of art and activism with our special guest, Kimberly Senior, a renowned theater director and the founding artistic director of Collaboraction Theater Company. So we're so delighted to have her join us on this new leg of the journey, moving ourselves forward. And as if that wasn't enough, we have for you the opportunity to engage with Teray Hill Jr., also known as Phenom. Phenom is a phenomena, literally a wonder of the world. Absolutely, you want to be here because he is an amazing community leader using art, hip hop to heal and transform our communities.
Phenom.
Ain't that something? And then for Act 2, and Act 3, and someplace in the middle, there is
the halftime show is Yuri Lane, human beatbox. Yuri Lane is he is another phenom actually, and they've collaborated. Yuri Lane is a musical machine, a very progressive spiritual dude, and he is not only a world-class beatbox, he's also a rapper. He is a harmonica player, and he knows how to deal with this environment. Yeah, I think we lost Dr. Slick. Dr. Slick slipped into a little wormhole known as the digital black hole. She'll be back any minute now, but that's okay because we're ready to start.
Let's get it going, brother.
Kimberly Senior, come on in. Where are you? There she is. Kimberly Senior is one of my oldest and closest theater collaborators and lifelong friends. My master's in theater was running side by side with Kimberly Senior in the mid-90s. There she is.
Hi.
Hi, welcome.
Hi. So good
How
to
are
see
you?
you. Good. I mean, better now that I'm with you. Now you're frozen.
How beautiful is that? Well, Kimberly, so
Mark
good.
back into that.
Yeah. So good to see you. I think the last time I saw you were at the Goodman or something. You had come in for for a piece of work. Actually, I think it was one of your pieces that was on the stage that night. So so glad to see you. So glad to have you. And this guy right here you left us with. Oh my, you left us in good hands with Anthony Moseley.
I know, he's a brother.
Just a creative genius unto himself. We got some black hole stuff going on up in
I
here.
know,
So,
I kind of love it. And I don't know, I'm in New Jersey, and I don't know if you guys are having the same weather I am, but it's like this biblical storm here, like it's pouring, and I'm like, oh, it's all kind of spooky tonight.
Yeah.
It feels
Am I back?
good.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, wait, are you back?
I'm back.
Oh, wait,
He's
hello.
back. He's back. Yeah,
So-
yeah.
So yeah, you know, I didn't finish my intro of Kimberly Senior, and she deserves one, though she doesn't really need one. Kimberly, you know, started the thing that is Collaboraction back in 1995. Maybe she could share a little bit of that time with us, and you know, and then a group of us kind of put it all together and got it going. And then she, you know, started directing at some of the biggest, most exciting stages in Chicago and in the Midwest. She ended up going all the way to Broadway and has directed a ridiculous breadth of work in the last 20 years, maybe the busiest director in America, with an unbelievable consistency for smart, high-quality productions, in which she's known for letting her collaborators, especially her actors, really shine. Kimberly, it's so cool.
Man, thank you.
Here we are in a pandemic in 2020. 24 years ago, we were just two kids chasing dreams. Along the way, the work that we did launched a lot of careers, at least 3 of them. You, me, and Sandra Delgado, and a whole bunch of other people. And you know, it's wonderful to just see your face and say that we're still alive and we're still doing it.
It's amazing.
Jay Nicole's back. Yes.
Yeah.
Gonna
Welcome
shimmy
back.
for you. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Kimberly, can you just share, now that we've had a little time to sit around and watch the clouds go by, you know, what do you think about when you think, what are the memories and the people that stand out from those early years? And then tell us what it must have been like to, you know, work on some of, as a woman director who's didn't really have much handed to you. What has it been like to put this body of work together, get the recognition and respect that you got? go to Broadway and now be sitting in your home in New Jersey saying, what am I going to do now?
God, there's so much there, but I feel like it's really important to note that like the amazing, creative, socio-political tornado weather event that is Collaboraction is like such a thing that I mean, tornado feels to me really the right word, where you imagine just sort of like sweeping up and picking up everything around it. And like that is, there was just a tiny seed in 1997, and that I guess it's always sort of been my mission, my personal mission about like what you're sort of saying about collaborators, Anthony, and that what Collaboraction has always wanted to do, even from its roots, was about that invitation to the audience to be, to have ownership and agency and to see their stories reflected on the stage, whatever those stories may be. So I just want to like say that like where we began, which was a very different place than where we are now, the like values and the morality of it and the people that were always drawn to it were issuing an invitation. And that I love that invitation remains, and that's sort of always like where it began for me, because I came to Chicago. I didn't know anybody there. I didn't go to college there. I didn't have family there.
Tell the story.
Yeah, you know, I packed up all my belongings in my car and I drove out to Chicago for an internship that didn't exist at Steppenwolf Theater, and just kind of hung around and like learned how to fix the photocopier, and like everyone was kind of like, who's that super helpful smiley girl? I wasn't getting paid anything. And, you know, at the end of like 3 months, then she was the recent artistic director. She had been appointed in March of 1995, and I came to theater in June. So it was August of 1995, Martha Levy, may she rest in peace, who ended up being my mentor for 23 years. She was like, do you work here? Like, who are you? I was like, I'm just going to stick around, you know? And I found what was so enchanting about Chicago was that there was so much different art being made. There was so much energy. I loved like coming from New York. It just felt really different in terms of the way the neighborhoods both had like super defined borders, but that there were also these places where people came together. Like I learned the rich history of the city. I started getting really involved in teaching through Steppenwolf and also arts education work. But I found I didn't like have creative partners of my own. I didn't have peers of my own to be able to work with. And so I put an ad in the Chicago Reader, which was a then print newspaper with 4 sections, one of which was like an art section. And it was like either a want ad or a personal or something in between. And that was like looking for people to collaborate with, like meet me at this cafe like on Wednesday at 5:00. And so this guy, Anthony Moseley, showed up and a couple other weirdos. And we were like, we wanted to, in that moment, I think that was kind of, I might be like compounding history, Anthony, but I think some of it too in that moment was us saying like, we want to be a team of mad scientists. Not that we all know how to do the same thing. We want to bring together a bunch of people, all of whom do different things, and like see what happens. And like, sometimes it's going to blow up and sometimes it will be the best. And like, but let's approach this as science. Let's throw some stuff against the wall. Let's see what happens. And I think for me in that moment, I was like, I think a lot of people are making really cool art in the city that feels that it's for their theater company. Like Steppenwolf making work for their ensemble, or like, you know, or making work to do their like amazing theater like Red Moon, who has this incredibly like clear mission and aesthetic. And like, I was like, I don't have an aesthetic, and I don't have like my people, and I don't have my teacher that I'm emulating. But like what I do have is the audience, and how do we invite them in, and how does it become their theater? And so like we've kind of always been a people's theater from the beginning. I think you asked me other things, but that's what I had.
And then you surely did develop an aesthetic, you know. And as you sit in front of a wall of books, you know, I mean, Kimberly, when I met her, she was teaching speed reading, I believe.
Yeah.
and where I have to take a pause in the script where it says pause, you know, it takes me like 8 minutes to read an 8-minute scene. Kimberly has a literary intelligence just to consume language and knowledge, and like just like a huge appetite and ability to do that. And that's why you can see in her style, I mean, she's really good with smart writers, because A, she makes her a great partner for the actor, and a great collaborator for a smart writer. And I think that's been part of your style, but tell us, so what was it like going from India, which we didn't talk about, which I also feel is somehow returned to the dream that you had in your trip to India.
Yeah, that I was in started theater company. Yeah.
And where, you know, for the people. And then, you know, you started, you know, directing around town, and now you ended up doing a film on HBO. But what's it been like to build this career of yours? What can you tell other young artists and women about your journey? What nuggets can you share that remind us of their connection to your legacy, and what walls they're going to knock down?
I think the most important thing, right, and something that I've done well that maybe hasn't always served me, is this thing of like, be true to yourself. Like every time I've tried to be somebody else, or tried to give the answers that I thought somebody else wanted to hear, or try to like fill in that script, is when I've not done well. So it's like, and to sort of not take it personally in a way, if they're not picking up what I'm putting down. But there is this, what I think is so amazing at the moment we're in, is that we're getting to have this experience of authenticity, because although there are still many macro aggressions in the world, we get to, like, in a day-to-day way, not live with microaggressions in the same way, because we're home and safe. We're safe at home. I mean, and I know not everybody's home feels that way, but that like, that in general, that there is a sense of like, if you are safe at home, that you're getting an opportunity to face yourself and know who you are and what that means. And so I think, like, for me, it comes from a place of authenticity, and like, my best work has been the things where I'm like, why am I telling this story? What is my personal way into the story? How are you always serving? When you treat all my work in institutional theater, and I remember like Anthony, or like meetings we had when we first started putting together a board, and we were told like, you have to have a mission, your vision, and your values. And like, I use those words to talk about myself as an artist. That those things are always to stay in line with them and to check in, because they will change. And who you are changes as your place in the world changes, and to have a constant awareness of that, and to think about the work you're putting into the world is to not think of it as your resume or your calling card or your headshot, but it's an extension and expression of you that is actually interacting with other people. So is it doing that with kindness? Is it doing it with care? Is it doing it with the right amount of like challenge, the little bit of like push that you want your work to be doing? You know, it's right. And some of it comes from all this literature, sure. And I think a lot of it also comes from responding to the ever-changing world around me, and wanting to make things that feel current. Like, I think some artists are really excited about being like, let me show you what I know how to do, right? And they like want to share their talents, and their talents are beautiful. And that's also like a gift and a generosity. And I think for me, I'm like, I can't solve this problem on my own. So can you come help me? I'm like, then that starts with like a team of artists and administrators and staff and board, and like those smaller communities that are institutions. And then I'm like, oh, we haven't quite figured it out yet. Audience, can you come in the room and participate in this discussion? Because like, we need to solve something, whether it's like, why do we love people that are like maybe not great choices, or like, how do we solve the like complicated legacy of our ancestors, or like, why is there hate in the world? Whatever those questions may be, that like, that's what the work gets to do. And so when you're thinking about that, not as like, I'm showing you me, but instead, like, again, the word invitation comes up here of like, how am I inviting you into participating with me? And so I feel like that's my advice, is like, you can invite someone into your heart, into your mind, if you're not being yourself. And so like, I would especially say in this time, like, figure that out. Like, I know I've learned a lot about myself, and I'm a mother of 2 kids, and I've been doing this for a long time. And like, but I still am like in this place of discovery and listening and paying attention to detail. And I've always been really fascinated. Anthony, you probably remember this. Like, I was really obsessed with Studs Terkel for a really long time. A Chicago great, may he also rest in peace. And like, so I'd read all his books of interviews, and some people may know him from like Working, or Division Street, or Race, but Studs, he was always celebrating the extraordinary and the ordinary. Like, he didn't want to go talk to famous people. He was just like talking to that guy whoever he was, who like checked his mail at the same time every day and raked his leaves and picked up his paper and waved hello to the neighbors. And so that's what ask these questions about, like, describe a typical day, or do you believe in God? Like these questions that just get people talking. It required such attention to detail and listening on his part. And it's like, when you pay attention is the sincerest form of flattery, right? So it's like when you pay something attention, when you give it that like care, there's a whole world in that. And so I feel like this time is reminding me of that. And like, I'm excited to meet the artist I am when we come out of here, because when people are like, can't wait to get back to normal, I was like, who's going back? There is only forward. And we don't know what that is. And we get to make some really cool decisions now, or ask really cool questions now about like, who do we want to be? What stories do we want to tell? How are we going to tell them? How are we going to interact with them? Like, we don't know those answers yet. And I'm like, so excited to not go back. I loved the back, but I'm like, where do we go? It's so cool with the unknown. When else do we get a rupture and renewal? Not every generation gets that.
The new sixth stage of grief is meaning, you know, and Elizabeth Kubler-Ross's collaborator published a book with Kubler-Ross's family's permission, and you know, we will eventually get there. I'm not there yet, but Jay, Nicole, Dr. Marcus, do you have a question for Kimberly?
Yeah, I have a question. Kimberly, it's so lovely to hear you talk about Studs Terkel. The Chicago nerd in me gets so excited. My question for you might be unfair. Let's fast forward a little bit to the hopefully sooner than later future. And hypothetically speaking, someone out there wants to direct. They want to become a storyteller. We're not talking about the old school, go through this program to get to this institution, X, Y, and Z, et cetera, et cetera. We have ourselves, and that's it, right? So what would you say to someone that might be watching this and is kind of like, kind of feel like I want to give directing a shot?
It's sort of the same question I'm asking myself, since the way that I know how to be a director is to like gather hundreds of people in a building together. And like, I'm not sure we're going to gather like that for a while. So I'm asking myself that question too. And that is like, what is your relationship to the audience, and what is their relationship to each other? What stories are best suited in that way, in that forum, right? Because it feels to me now like theater's going to belong to everyone more, because you might not have to pay hundreds of dollars for a ticket to get into a building. Like there might not be an entrance fee anymore. So then it can expand our realm of, we don't have to think about the commercial or the popular or the safe or what will people like. I started thinking about the work that Augusto Boal was doing in Brazil for many years, where he was engaging with communities about like what their community problem was. Mm-hmm. And that the community partners were also the actors, were also the activists. And I think that we need to be thinking about our work more as well, and Collaboration's already doing this, but I think for all people to be thinking about, like, if I'm someone who wants to direct, how am I an activist? What am I activating? And what are my convictions? Like, what am I passionate about? And so, like, I'm even thinking too, like, what does it mean to like open up a community? When they keep talking about opening something, I'm like, what does opening mean? What's that word? And so I'm trying to think about that. And it's like, oh, does that mean that I want to like go back to an old play, or do I want to read a new play, or how do I want to tell the story? How do we foster that? For me, I love being in the theater where I laugh at the same time that someone else does who's a stranger to me. And it's like, oh, we are connected, right? It's like when you go to a concert and you're like singing lyrics along with a total stranger and you're like, we're connected. So like, how do we create connection when I can't feel them sigh next to me is a question I have. So I feel like anyone wants to be a director. It's different than like, I'm telling you, 6 months, it would have been like, read every play there is, have your bucket list of plays you want to do, identify the institutions where you want to work. And now I'm saying that, I don't think it matters anymore. Now it's like, actually, if you're the person who solves how we gather and tell stories, you are the new director. Like that's the cool challenge. Like that's what it is now, because we don't have to bring along our tote bag of all our awesome books that we've read. Like, I don't think anyone's gonna care about that anymore. I think now we're gonna be like, solve for me how people can all laugh at the same joke at the same time, 6 feet apart while they're wearing masks.
You hear that? If you're at home and you're thinking about it.
And call me up, because I want to work with you.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Marcus, I think your mute's on.
Yes, Dr. Marcus, we
Yeah,
are.
so I'm getting in on this. The question I have for you, Kimberly, is how is the environment of change and transition we're experiencing today reshaping your invitation to dance with you, to engage with you in art making and storytelling and the world?
That is such a good question. And I hope this is an answer that makes sense, because it's about specificity.
Mm.
And it's not a general invitation anymore.
Mm.
It's a like, who am I not reaching? I'm finding like my definition of empathy changing, and what stories I'm telling. And I mean, I try really hard to not be the expert ever. Like, my favorite thing to say is, I don't know. Like, I really love that, because I believe I don't know is an invitation.
Mm.
But I really want to find out, like, what are the things I don't know. And there's also a quiet, right? And this is kind of piggybacking off of what I was saying before, of like, I'm not playing to the top of the balcony anymore. Like, I know that. So I'm like, what if it is 4 people in my living room? Like, what's happening there? Like, I don't know what that means, but that there's something about that. I'm sure many people feel this way. Like, I keep talking about how my metabolism has shifted, like in my tempo, like not necessarily my physical metabolism, but that everything is like just a little, like, time doesn't really make sense. We're all just like a melting Salvador Dali clock. And like, now that we are living that way, like, what does that allow us to do? Like, what rooms are unlocked in the house when we get to go there? So I guess I hope that answers what I'm saying, but I just think it's smaller, it's quieter, it's more specific. And like, this is what I spend my days staring at my wall thinking about.
I truly appreciate that specificity and that image of the dolly. You know, I could just melt right into that.
Overall,
So,
just
so glad to have you here. Thank you.
You guys, it's May tomorrow. Has anyone told you that yet? Tomorrow
is it really?
May.
May Day. May Day.
Sorry to break it to you.
It's May. Today's a special day for me in my world. You know, I'm celebrating the birth of my second born, and it's just an amazing way to bring in the month. And then my first child, she's born in May, and my grandchildren are born in May, so it's kind of like it's time to get on with some May flowers, baby.
Yeah, you got all good things coming. I know we brought home a dog today, so that's
congratulations.
Time with you over.
Ask him about his dog. Ask him about his dog.
Oh yeah, we got you have you seen our dog?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Oh yes.
I know you couldn't help it.
But they're both pulling up pictures of their dogs. I love it. Like, oh my gosh.
Let's see.
Kimberly, what did you name your puppy?
Coda.
Oh, my Lord.
I mean, he's so handsome. He's a super babe.
What's his name?
His name is Kodak.
And ours is Coda.
Coda. That's the name he came with.
This is a great time for dogs. I mean, they're really thriving, and it's their time.
Well, I don't know what they're going to do. Like, I mean, my dog is not going to know a world where we're not all home all the time.
Yeah, it's going to be rough.
What is he going to do when I leave?
It's gonna be rough. Kimberly, thank you so much for joining us. It's great to see you and hear you and just take a pause and look at how far we've come and start.
I love that you're doing this. I watched last week, and it was like one of my favorite hours of last week. I felt lighter at the end of the hour, and that's like the best way to put it. So thank you all for making meaningful content and having a presence that doesn't feel like a checkbox, but continues to engage. So thank you. It's really beautiful,
Thank
as
you.
all are.
Thank you. We can't wait to see what you do next. And if there's only 4 tickets, hold one for me.
Okay, great. Yeah, you guys you're in. You know people.
Okay.
All right. Love you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Love you.
Thank you, Kimberly.
Love you too. Take care.
Oh my goodness. A conversation with Studs Terkel and Dolly. That just makes me happy. Dolly also said, I don't take drugs, I am drugs. So like, I think that's so like, just be it and don't do drugs. Moving on. Now we're going to the halftime section.
Halftime show!
All right, in the time of us all being speechless and not always knowing what to say, I think perhaps now it's just time to return to some music, our voices. I am very, very, very excited and honored to bring our next guest, a human called Yuri Lane, a human beatbox. Like, not only a human beatbox, a classically trained actor, I mean, world-renowned, honey. I shook out my wig for you. Welcome, Yuri Lane!
You!
Hi, Yuri, welcome.
Oh, you're muted.
Well, I don't want to be muted.
There you
We
go.
hear you, we're with you.
You can hear me? Hey, what's up, everybody?
I
Hey.
love it. Hey, welcome to the show with a great hat.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
man.
Yes,
Crank it up, baby. Crank it up.
A man of many hats. Yeah, I just seeing Kimberly Senior and hearing her story and had the opportunity to work with her in the past. It was just incredibly inspiring. So just so happy to be here and to share some music and to talk to you guys via this new way of communicating.
Well, we're awfully grateful to have you here, and we know that you're gonna bless us with some sound and kick that flavor in our ear, and we're excited about it. But I wonder if you would humor me. I would love to know, what is your earliest recollection of a sound or sounds that may have enraptured you? What, do you have an origin story? Did you like hear something and go, let me do that and replicate it? I'm curious.
Well, I grew up in San Francisco, and so I would walk through all the different neighborhoods and really kind of tune in and listen to my surroundings.
Yeah.
The sound that was emanating through my neighborhood was hip hop, and this is in the late 70s and the early 80s. And so I started to listen to the radio, specifically this show on 89.5 KPOO in San Francisco, and it had a hip hop show, and Dougie Fresh was on the radio. And so I heard Dougie Fresh, and I said, I want to do what he's doing. I want to make sounds, I want to rap, I want to dance, and that kind of kicked it off. And so that was one of the things that I first heard was beatbox on the radio that really just got me super inspired and exciting.
When I was a shorty, we used to always argue and fight about Dougie Fresh versus my man's rest in peace from the Fat Boys.
Buffy.
Yeah, like we would always
Some
like,
of that remark.
oh my God, it's like, he better. I just love fighting like that.
Yeah, they made a whole movie about it called Breath Control, the history of human beatbox, and kind of had this like, who was the original beatbox? Was it Buffy or was it Dougie? And so it was Buffy. It was Buffy. He was the first person to really bust beats into the microphone that would blow out sound systems. And he was the biggest part of the Fat Boys. But Dougie was the greatest entertainer. So, and yeah.
You have a song called Breath Control.
I do. Yeah, that was off my first album, Breath Control. Yep.
I like that one.
Oh, thanks.
Well, speaking of breath, I'm ready to have my breath taken away.
Are you ready?
Yes, would you do us the honor to
Yes.
show all these humans and aliens your skill set?
north side, south side, west side, Chicago, north, south, south side, west side, Chicago.
Hey,
Chicago, Chicago. Here we go. Here we go. Beatbox with my real go round. Beatbox, 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 beatbox with my real go round, 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 round. Check it out.
oh. Okay. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
Fantastic. My goodness. I mean, like, that's so exciting. Like, oh my gosh. I'm ready to keep going over here.
You know, and I can keep going. I can go on and on and on and on.
Man, oh man. Woo! Where you learn how to play the harmonica now?
So I started messing with it back in acting college in 1991. But honestly, when I moved to Chicago, I just started to listen to the incredible harmonica players.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the sort of one of the true soundtracks for blues, for the blues music, and it's so similar to beatbox, because beatbox is a portable instrument, and a harmonica is a portable instrument. So you just put it in your pocket, and you can go, and off you go. And so I went to the South Side Chicago Blues Club, and I was like, hey, I love to perform. I do the beatbox harmonica. And he's like, oh, we call that the Mississippi saxophone. So people have been like chugging into the harmonica and trying to emulate the sounds of the harmonica. And so beatbox and harmonica are kind of very similar in that it's a percussive instrument, but it's also, a reed instrument. So they're reeds, but it's percussive. So you're using your throat and you're using your lips.
So you took that sound all the way back to the West Coast, or did you just start sprinkling it all over the world after you got your tutelage here in Chicago?
I had a viral video on YouTube back in the late 2000s, and that really kicked it off for me. So people started to recognize me as the beatbox harmonica guy,
Millions of views. You're being real sweet about it. Like millions of views, honey. I think it's like 10.7 or something like.
Yeah, it's like that. It was an exciting time. Google flew me around the world, and I shared the beatbox harmonica and had some songs on commercials and in some movies, and it was great. And so since that time, I really have really focused on becoming a harmonica player. And then letting the beatbox sometimes take a little rest and then bring it all together. And that's been really, so, just as a musician, it's a lifelong process. And so there are so many like top tier harmonica players like Howard Levy, who is a genius. And I'll never get to his level, but just, you can always get better and better. So there's always somebody better than you. And I'm inspired by this new generation of beatbox harmonica players who were inspired by my video. And then I'm like, whoa, I'm inspired by what they're doing. Because they saw my video back in the day, and now they're doing their own style of beatbox harmonica. So that's been really great and gratifying.
Well, it's certainly been gratifying to have you come and kick it with us on this journey. I mean, I'm really grateful to you, Anthony Moseley, for introducing me a while ago, because I was the square. I was not up on it, but I have a feeling that I'm not alone there, and a few million other folks are going to come along and get to know more about you and be able to buy your music and support you.
Yeah.
And before I hand it over, I just want to ask you real quick, if there's someone that's watching this and they're like, man, I'm ready to order me a harmonica from whatever.com or whatever music store that they can support and get to learning, but they ain't got nobody to help them go through the process. Where would you say that they should begin?
Well, first, get yourself a harmonica. Andy's Music is a local place that you could order it from, You don't have to go through Guitar Center, though, I've had a good relationship with Guitar Center, so that's another place. And they're not expensive. Sometimes you don't want to get one that's $5 or $10.
Okay.
It's just not going to do it. Get yourself one that's like $25. And then, start playing with all the different holes, But if you want to just bring the beatbox harmonica style, just always know that the exhale, right, is folk music. So when you blow out, right, that's folky. But if you breathe in, that is more bluesy, right? But when you beatbox, it's a lot about the exhale and not so much about the inhale. So you got to just say boom, boom, ksh. So everybody say boom, boom, cash.
Boom, boom, cash.
Boom, boom, cash.
Boom, boom, cash.
Now, I can say boom, boom, cash on the harmonica, and it sounds kind of cool like this. Right?
Oh!
Boom, boom, ksh. If you say ksh, so everybody say cash money.
Cash money.
Now take out the ah and go ksh. Yeah. Let's say boom, ksh.
Boom.
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 So there you go. You just had your first beatbox. And Anthony's definitely not his first beatbox. Dr. Marcus, not your first beatbox. Nicole, I know you go way back, but teaching beatbox is what I've been doing for the past 20 years. And I teach a beatbox class from 18 months to 3 years old, 4 to 6, 16 to 19, college age. I teach beatbox to all ages. And it's a universal language that everybody can understand. And it's a way to develop your own voice and to develop speech, because speech has a rhythm to it, and so does beatbox. And so beatbox is a universal rhythmic language in which everyone all over the world, and there are hundreds of millions of beatboxers all over the world, and we really communicate with the beatbox. And so that's something that's in the past 10 years has become more of a worldwide phenomenon in terms of the beatbox community and beatbox championships and beatbox festivals. And so we like to say the new rock star used to be the DJ, right? That was the new rock star. But the new rock star is the beatbox.
Yeah, it is. Yuri, it's so great to have you on Crucial Connections. We've been connected for a long time, brother. I look forward to many, many, many more collaborations. Thank you for saying yes so many times. And love and light to you and your family. And we'll hug it out soon enough.
Yes, we will. And, we can shelter in place together. We can connect virtually this way. And, I'm always down to contribute to Collaboraction and to be a part of the different festivals and the different ways in which we activate neighborhoods and we shine a light on neighborhoods that have been left behind. And so, Inglewood is a big inspiration the past few years, and seeing how that neighborhood has grown and how it continues to get people give it a bad name, and so much is happening in Inglewood. And part of Collaboraction's mission is to really sort of reflect what's going on and doing theater that's based on what is happening in Inglewood. And so those are some of the things that, we may not be able to physically go there, but we can connect and start and continue to make theater and to do performances and to create a venue for people to speak and to get on the microphone and tell their story. So I look forward to the rest of the show. I'm going to be tuning in for Phenom. You know that.
Here we go.
He played Delilah's 5th birthday party. So come on now.
How beautiful is that? So thank you for that. Thank you for all of that. So glad to have you. So we're gonna make this little turn here, and I'm so appreciative of you bringing all that love, that breath, because on the breath comes the sound. When you're breathing in, you inspire, and when you exhale, you can hail. All right. So we're about to bring up Teray Hale Jr., also known as Teray Hale Senior, also known as Phenom, who is a force of nature. The force of nature like gravity. He's a kind of magnetism with his artistry that brings people together and connects them. He's like glue, like the glue of community building that allows his voice, his lyric, his spirit to kind of bring us all together and connect us into a space of belonging to each other, and which is at the heart of what it means to be collaboration. And where I came into this world with Phenom is I saw him move me and others to find new words of expression, to speak our truth, and to speak our truth in a way that it heals each other. And he's the curator of a magnificent piece of work that we now know as a platform, but it has many other iterations, from Lyric Lagoon to all this other cool stuff that he's pulled together across the south and west sides of Chicago. I just want to invite him into the conversation and say, dear brother.
What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up?
What's up? How you feeling, man?
And I feel great. Thank you for having me. I feel in the house, very in the house.
I think we have a video from our time together in the salon at the platform, so everybody can get a flavor for the love that's in the room when Phenom and the MC School and the artists of the platform gather. Can we cue that up?
Please do.
Brothers and sisters.
Yes.
That's beautiful stuff there, baby.
I miss that.
So some folk know you as an artist. Some folk know you as a community organizer. Some folk know you as a husband and father, brother, you know, son. But there's this essence of Phenom that is ever flowing and ever transforming. I'm wondering, what is it? What's your muse, man? What brings you to life every day?
Man, you know, just seeing people live it on purpose. When I see people live on purpose, it gives me a different juice. Give me a different juice. And I've learned that I have an X-Man quality of turning that life on for some people, you know, and primarily the young generation. And so that's what drives me to keep looking for that, because once you're able to turn somebody on, or they turn you on for that day, you man, it's a different feeling of what life is.
Yeah.
And so I look for that.
Yeah. I've seen you work with so many diverse artists from all age groups, but you definitely have a thing for this 20-something, almost 30-something person who is making their way into the artistic world, but maybe not know the way, and the way you hold them and help mold them into the MCs and artists as they become. It's a wonder to behold. So what is it you see when you see into them? There's like, you find that you got that superpower that finds that magic, and I'm wondering what it is that finds that magic in others, that allows you to like really fluff that fun and make it go.
Well, you know, Brother Marcus, Baba, we as a young man, I was able to be exposed to many different environments. Everything from a gang leader's house that I was raised in, to being VIP at some of the biggest events in the city, to being a mentee to Rick Ross for the day, Ricky Ross, Freeway, Ricky Ross, just being in different environments. I learned that I have a responsibility now to be able to translate the different truths that make up real life. And that's why I was saying I want to, my goal is to turn life on. And I have these truths that I've learned and accumulated over time that has helped me just navigate through whatever life throws at us. And there's an instance where we were mentoring this group, K-Love and myself, K-Love the poet, and myself were mentoring this group of young people called Lyric. Let your rhymes inspire creativity. We let them come up with the name so that they feel some ownership, some skin in the game. And the youngest one in the group read like something crazy, like 7 books in 2 weeks or something like that. She was like tenacious with it. And she went to Paul Robeson, and she was a honor roll student, and she did this report on who Paul Robeson was. Stellar student, stellar, super louder than a bomb type poet. And so we took them to the African Festival and we met some of the elders. And one of the elders came over to our group of youth and said, hey, what school do you go to? What school do you go to? Asking them what school do they go to. And it came around to her. And she said, Paul Robeson. I attend Paul Robeson High School. He said, oh, okay, do you know who Paul Robeson was? Right? This is her chance. I'm sitting here. She is about to light him up. And he totally cut her off and like, see, you don't know, y'all don't know about who the namesakes to y'all schools are. Paul Robeson was this, he was this, he was this. And she just totally shrank. And she walked away. And I took that so personally. I went back and I got her and I said, go back and tell him who you are.
Yeah, that's I totally feel that, and I see how you wrap your arms around them even when they fall and stand them up again. And I know you off there in the black hole there, but they're gonna find you and pull you back in. Don't worry about it. We got our own away team. This is our own starship. Come on.
How to fight.
Where you at, Teray?
Teaching them how to fight. I don't know where it went. Okay, there you go. Okay. Yeah, teaching them how to fight. And so I realized that I had that ability, and I saw so many just being crunched.
Yeah, and I see how you took that to heart, because I see you now lifting up people who have been crushed by life. You know, I see you breathing life into people that in ways that you speak light and truth into them. So I'm so glad you were here to share that. When you come back, I want you to say something to us that can help us find our way in this transition that we find ourselves in with this COVID-19 coronavirus kind of thing, and how that's impacting you, how that's impacting your work, maybe how that's impacting folks in the communities we serve. And so as Teray finds himself coming back here, I'm gonna see if they will. There you go. He back. And we'll let him come on and say something about that.
Phenom.
Yeah.
We're back. We're zoomed up. We are connected.
We are connected.
Crucially, our relationship, I think, represents what Chicago could be. People that are doing everything they can to contribute to the city, that are then finding ways to partner up, link up, share, collaborate, and create a model of abundance. Meeting you and some of the incredible people that you roll with has definitely changed my life and my perspective. And I look forward to seeing that garden grow over the next couple decades.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts and hopes for the future of Chicago as we rebuild out of this pandemic?
Oh man, it's that Kim said some great things about really relating to who you are. I definitely appreciated that interview, guys. The world now has post-traumatic stress syndrome. And we all are even now, and what I learned that I could do very well is taste the sugar in the salt. Taste the sugar in the salt. So I'm from Cabrini Green. So, we've been having the short end of the stick for the longest. We've been going without. The the shelves were empty to us because of money, not because of a pandemic, you know, but it still was empty. You know, we still had to be creative. So I feel that life has totally groomed me to guide a group of whatever my capacity is through, like I said, whatever life throws at us. We were I was looking at the news and everything, and they were telling her about how people are just have PTSD from the amount of deaths. And that I was getting that from the violence in Chicago, you know, and that's what was driving me. It was like, I felt like this was what happened in New York with Corona happened here with violence. And the first responders was getting hit, elders, youth, so, I got this saying right here. I don't know if you can see it. It says, happiness is not a destination, it's a way of life. And so I have been practicing being happy with less. Woo! Let me tell you something. Iraq, let me tell you something. What I learned when I was in Iraq, okay? There was we didn't have TV. It was like this. But everybody was on one accord. Everybody was talking about spirituality and different things like that. And I was able to look back at America, the West. And I had a new understanding of what African American means.
Speak.
It is a culture who does the absolute best with the absolute least. Language stolen, religion stolen, you name it. But look, so how could we, especially me as an artist, how could we just, you know, allow this to cripple us? This is supposed to make us stronger. America has been hit with a tsunami of change, and we all have to recover from it. And it don't matter how old you are no more. It don't matter how strong you are. Get over here and give us some warmth, give us some ideas. We need to recover, right? So what we have to do is what we should have been doing. That should be a shirt. Come on.
Nice word. That's a good word.
What we have to do is what we should have been doing. The way we're eating right now, we can't eat at those restaurants like that. And yes, they're going out of business, but our health is coming up, baby, right? So reading is coming up. The internet is slow because everybody's on the internet. So you got to find something else to do, right? Your creativity is coming. Don't get me started. Y'all don't want to talk to me.
Yeah. Yes, that's it. I think we're now channeling Phenom.
Yeah,
yes,
man.
Baby.
I got a group. I got about 1, 2, 3, 4 of 5 of MC.
I knew you had something to pocket. Bring it.
Oh no, come on. They are the Navy SEAL of artists. You know, they are suicide preventers. They are first responders on low self-esteem.
Yeah.
Man.
Bring them, baby. Bring them.
Somebody wanna come here real quick. So we got one right here. This is the current class, right? And so there are 4 classes of these, and 3 classes graduated a 6-month cohort, hardcore training, pre-COVID training, right? Okay. And so this is the class that's going through the lockdown. They're still going through their class. Class ain't over. And so this is Huey Shakur right here. Say something.
What's good, y'all?
Hey, Huey.
All right. Do a little 30-second something for them real quick.
30 seconds. Let's see what I got for y'all. As soon as I appear, I knock the top off. That's an interruption. I can cut you off because there's no discussion. I'm catching all their hands like I play percussion, but I ball up like you see the foot coming.
Go, 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 go.
Better ball up like you see the foot coming. I cause concussions to the bumpy road, they under construction. If you ain't a brother, then don't call me cousin. My people rising up. Them niggas deducted, lost a lot, but I made it something. Couldn't be a buster. Follow me, I'm the band conductor. I'm the
He's the band conductor. Follow him. Okay, come here, real quick. Come here.
Come on. Real quick. Come on. Oh, man.
Ambiance.
Being in the house hurts, but I don't want to go outside. I like my alone time, but that's when the thoughts come alive, especially in the nighttime. And she'll make it all alright. And I'ma stay at your crib, so I can be feel user looking for peace of mind.
Okay, all right.
All right. Yeah, well, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. MC School, that's how it rules.
Come here. Okay.
We got one more? Oh yeah.
You've been in my dreams longer than you know. So long I've wondered if I'm in yours. Though each day your sweet eyes held the answers. I let my scared heart tell my mind I was wrong. While my brief words gave you nothing to work with. So just know there's more that I want to say. Like I know that I'll never be with you unless I lead the way. So come on, I'll lead the way.
Okay, all right, that's enough, MC School. That's enough.
That's beautiful.
Okay, so that right there is the juice of life that makes you want to live, that make you want to be more creative. So we are in training right now and we are redeployed daily. We have a prayer line that we get on and we pray for about an hour with each other, man. That's how you continue, by continuing. Don't plan for the future, live for the right now. And that's what we do every day. Bye-bye.
Oh, beautiful work, man. So Phenom, we're so blessed to have you in our world together. I love it when we have a chance to breathe air together. You know what I'm saying? There it is right there. And the music, the love of the people. And I've seen your work heal. I've seen your work save people. I've been there when were it not for them being with you, all hell would have broke loose in their lives, and you're that kind of magnetism and force of nature. So thank you for joining us tonight. We'll have you back. We'll do some other stuff. Maybe we'll focus on bring up the young folk. Give them that boost, right?
Yes, sir.
So it's coming. So I know we're coming to the end of our time together, but I just want to just give back to you, say, I see you, black man. Yeah. Respect. I want to thank y'all, man. Thank y'all for the platform. Thank you for allowing us to grow our platform inside of that platform. And I think that's the future of life, is platform building. Who in the room could say a tongue twister the best? That's a platform. They're gonna walk out feeling good. Who can count the best? That's a platform. So y'all continue to put platforms on that matter to people, and clap to y'all, man. You know what I'm saying? We are each other's business.
We are. Yeah. Paul Robeson.
Yeah. I love that signal. It's probably time for a boost.
Yes. It's time for our signal boost. This is spotlight the people in the groups and the folks that's doing all the great things and just trying to bring us together. So Dr. Marcus, please, why don't you tell us a bit more about this week's signal boost going out to Nami?
Oh, Nami.
Right.
So it might be, so there's this fuss in the world about whether there's a mind-body split. Do you have a mind, you have a body, is it the same or is it connected? Well, I like to say my mind has a body, right? And NAMBI is an organization that puts its arms around all of us to help us, manage our own mental health, our mental state. So as the mind goes, the world flows, right? And so they're doing great work with their helplines. They're doing great work here in the Chicago community, and I know that their work permeates out into the world. So if you can see their website, all that good information we got up there, send them some love, send them some money. $5 is not too small, $500,000 is not too big. Whatever you got that you can help the helper. I like to ask the question, we always see who feeds the feeder, who feeds the hungry. And if you feed the hungry, you give them a big amount of applause. But who feeds the feeder? And so this is our chance to put our community arms around NAMI and show them some love and support their efforts in mental health throughout our communities. And
NAMI has a helpline that we want to really push that's available nationally, 1-800-950-NAMI, NAMI. Or you can email info@nami.org. So if you feel like you need some support and some resources or information for how to manage this real crisis that we are going through as a earth, NAMI is there for you. We'd encourage you to call them, talk to a professional. If you would call, if you broke your leg and you'd call the doctor, well, give NAMI a call if you don't feel like you're at your best mentally right now. And we're all going through it. So it's important not to stop yourself or to support others that need to reach out for help. So thank you, NAMI, for doing that. And next week on the show,
I lost your audio, brother.
Oh, there we go. Next week on the show, we have Carla Stillwell, the writer and my co-creator of a new show, Red Island, that was going to be running right now, a world premiere about a musical satire about racism in America. Carla is smart and hilarious and speaks from the heart. So she is going to be incredible. That's Act 1. In Act 2, we have Tarif Michael, co-founder of the Wu Foundation, affiliated with the Wu-Tang Clan. Tarif is a real dedicated activist, and together we were part of forming a peace coalition here in Chicago. We're going to hear about Tarif's story and his perspective, leveraging the brand of Wu-Tang to help young people and folks that have not been given a fair shake. Tarif will be with us. We're real excited about that. And our halftime show next week is In a Pickle, a new theatrical company from Michelle M. Oliver and Collaboraction company member Antonio Brunetti. So we are going to have a little 5-minute play next week. It'll probably be in the kitchen if I know Antonio. Will he be wearing pants? Probably not. And Antonio has been in a bunch of shows and close collaborator, and his talented and beautiful wife. I'm sure they will be hilarious as they zoom in for our halftime show from Los Angeles.
Yeah, so glad. I'm glad we're going to have them on. Such a great lineup for next week. Well, we've come to the close of our show, and as you know, as you're beginning to learn, that at the close of each show, we like to present some work that's submitted to us through our Together Network portal on our website at collaboration.org, where you, the audience, can submit your work, whether it's writing, whether it's artistic in some way, fine arts, painting, a monologue, or spoken word, whatever you got. Put it on a video about 2 minutes in length and send it to us, and then we'll look through them, and as we find the opportunities to present new work, we will. And so we're gonna say goodnight tonight and allow you to really enjoy this next great piece of work that came in through the portal. Who knows? Next week, next month, it could be your piece up. So send it in right away.
Before we get out of here, we just want to give a shout out of love and thank you to our sponsors. And listen, if y'all want to see more programming like this, please, please, please consider donating any amount to collaboraction.org, or you can also become a monthly contributor for as little as $5 a month. We would love to get your support. And again, we want to thank you so much for rocking with us. Anthony, we are out of time.
This show, and then we're going to also roll Blink, a play from Sketchbook 15 featuring Sandra Delgado and David Desmalchian that I wrote with Liviu Pasari. It's a pretty cool little piece. It was the last piece after a 15-year run of the Sketchbook Festival. So episode 2, great job, guys. We did it.
Collaboraction. Theater for Social Change in Chicago.
This is perfect.
What?
This.
What?
Right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why?
You, me, the baby, us. I'm just like, I'm so content right now. You know? I feel like it took my whole life to get to this moment, and it was all so worth it.
But you were making me cry. Hold on. Say it again. Let me record it.
No. Fine. Hello, people of the future. I am sitting here with my lovely and amazing wife, and I want to go on the record to say that we are in the midst of what is known as a perfect moment. You might even call it heaven. I'm grateful to be alive and in love with this amazing woman who will now tell you about herself.
No, come on, can you wait?
No. Not until you tell the people of the future how you feel.
Okay, fine. I feel good. Really good. And I know this moment won't last. And it'll all be gone in the blink of an eye, but right now, I feel really, 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 really good.
Look. People of the video job. I'm sitting here with my lovely and amazing wife, and I want to go on the record to say that we are in the midst of what is known as a perfect moment. You might even call it heaven. I am grateful to be alive and in love with this amazing woman who will now tell you about herself. No. Nope, that usually from the people of the future. How you feel? Fine. Okay. I feel good. Really good. And I know this moment won't last, and it'll all be gone in the blink of an eye, but right now I feel really, 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 really good. Hello, people of the video job. I am,
this is perfect.
What?
Feel like it took my whole life to get to this moment, and it's also worth it. I'm grateful to be alive and in love with this amazing woman who will now tell you about herself.
Okay. I feel good. Really good. And I know this moment won't last. It'll all be gone in the blink of an eye.